Welcome friends, I am Suman Saurav Mohanty, 2016 UPSC exam qualifier with an All India rank of 9th. So today we are here to discuss about a detailed application form which you have to fill up immediately after a prelims. Some checks and balances, do's and don'ts. I just discuss with you and tell you where probably you could trip and where you should be a bit careful so that later on you don't face much issues. It's a very simple form. Thankfully, most of the parameters here are auto-populated or taken from other sources previously filled up during your prelims examination. For example, your roll number, name, date of birth, gender. These are already filled from your prelims preferences. You need not fill this up. Then we come to your address for correspondence. There are two columns here, permanent as well as postal address, temporary address. Most of us don't face any problems if you are giving the exam from our permanent home locations because UPSC sends you a number of correspondence after you clear the exam. Hence, it is advisable if you are in a coaching center, suppose Delhi, Jaipur, etc., you give the address where you are most likely to stay for more than a year. If you have a permanent address, give the address of that. Otherwise, give the landlord or anyone an indication that if any correspondence comes, he could keep it for you because there would be important communication from UPSC in this regard. Then we come to the community certificate. This is a new category, economically weaker sections. There has been a government notification for the same. What are the eligibility guidelines? Who is the competent authority to issue a certificate? You have to simply put the certificate number. If you have already got one, you have to keep in mind that it issued prior to 1st August 2019. Date of issue, who is the designation, suppose it's the collector, it's the tehsildar, it's the SDM who has issued you, who is the address of the issuing authority. Then if you belong to the scheduled caste community, you have to state your religion. Then you have to give the name of the caste, tribe, community to which you belong, name of the state who has issued you the certificate. Central list, there is a drop down menu where you can click the central list and you can find your scheduled caste designation there and you can fill this up. Then we come to relaxation claim. If you are claiming relaxation for anything on basis of any community, be sure, I'll just discuss later on in the video, that you have the relevant certificates for the same. If you are claiming any relaxation, yes or no. Your marital status, if you are married or unmarried, you can state here. Nationality, what is your nationality, what is your citizenship status. Suppose if you are Indian and then there are certain guidelines for certain other country people who can appear in this particular examination, you have to select on that if you belong to the other country. If born in India, yes or no, simple. Place of birth, state, district and pin code. This is important because some questions could come from your native state, native district. If it is famous or it has been recently been in news, you could get some questions regarding this. So be very careful while you are filling this up. Then your mother tongue, what is your mother tongue, what is the language that you are most comfortable in. If you are very comfortable in your mother tongue, please do mention that and your state from which you belong. Have you ever been recommended as a PH and PWBD candidate in the examination? If you are a person with physical disabilities and you have applied for as a PH candidate and you have been selected by UPSC, please do mention that. You can mention the year of the examination, name of the examination along with your roll number. If you have done multiple attempts and you have got selected in multiple exams, there is always the provision of add more button here. Then again, if the disability certificate was uploaded by you for the civil services main examination 2019, you have to select yes or no. Then you come to the fact that if you have ever been declared unfit or not recommended by Central Standing Board on account of your disabilities, yes or no. Be very careful, be very factual and correct in filling up this information because these information always stay in an RTI form and later on if you fill up wrong information, it can really cost you high. Be very careful while you are filling up this information. Candidate with benchmark disability, if yes or no, if you have benchmark disability as defined in the government notification, please do click. Photo ID card, again this has already filled up during the prelims time, hence you need not fill this up again. Then we come to the next page. Do you hail from the Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sikkim under claiming exemption from appearing in Indian language for paper A? If you hail from these places, then what you do is you fill yes or no. If you are filling yes, you have to give supporting documents for the same. Remember that. If no, select the language for paper A. It could be a native language or any language of your choice and comfort. Optional subject, again this is auto populated. This is already filled in from your prelims form. You cannot change this. Choice of center for the examination, you cannot be changed. Language medium, cannot be changed. But yes, this is a very important part. If the language medium for the interview test can obviously be changed, you can give your exam, you can give your interview in a language other than that specified in your mains exam. If you want to give in Hindi and you have filled up your answers, main answer sheet in English, you are free to do that. Then we come to parental information, name of the father and mother, whether they are alive or deceased. This name of father and mother, they come already auto populated from the previous prelims information. Be very careful about filling their details, because yes, background questions could be asked in your interview exam. Their present postal address, nationality, it can be filled up. What is their nationality? Mother's present postal address, preferably this should also be a permanent address and address for communication. Father's profession and mother's profession. What is the profession of your parents? Sometimes questions could be asked about that in interview times. Be very truthful and honest about it. If your father and mother are in service, if they have been retired, if they have retired, then what was the last post held by them in the service? Annual income of your parents, father and mother, separately to be mentioned. State to which your father belongs, district, mother's state, mother's district. If the district is again in news or is of some national importance, questions could be asked about it. Do some background study. I am giving you a pointer for the interview. Then again we come to the economically weaker section guidelines. If your family, if you fall within this gambit, you are entitled to economical weaker section provision. If you do not fill into this category, straight mark no. Then we come to the educational information portion. This is also very relevant. Here you are asked about your 10th, higher secondary, +2 and your graduation marks. Sometimes be very careful. What you do is, when you are filling up this information, hold your 10th, 12th and graduation certificates along with you and fill up the information, so that there is very little chance of discrepancy or error. If your marks are up to 2 decimal places, you fill up the data according to that. Suppose if it is 84.66, fill up 84.66. No need to go beyond that, or no need to go less than that. Do you possess the prescribed educational qualification? Of course, you need to be a graduate. There is a clear-cut guidelines on what educational qualification you need to possess, and you must have the relevant certificate for the same. Then we come to employment status. Again, this is important because your employment status forms a lot of crux of the questions in your interview. If you have ever been employed, yes. What is the nature of employment? If your employment has been in stages, if you had 4 or 5 jobs, be very specific about them. And suppose if in the same job, if you have had multiple promotions, be again very specific about them. Suppose if you have been a trainee for 3 months and then you have had a permanent job, you have got a promotion, be very specific, because that aids in the interviewer's process. He knows that which period you were training, which period you had a permanent job. You could have different questions for the same. Again, we come to the next question. How many times have you appeared in the UPSC Civil Services Preliminary Examination? You can give the number of times. How many times you have appeared? Again, there is a qualifying remark to this. If you have appeared in any one of the preliminary papers, be it General Studies, be it CSAT, it means you have appeared. If you have not appeared at all in any of the papers, it means you have not appeared. Keep this simple test, then fill up accordingly. You need not remember your roll numbers. You just need to fill up your year in which you have appeared. Roll number, if you do not know, please put 0. Again, have you ever been accepted allocation to a service or post on basis of civil services examination? If you have been selected on any of the posts as mentioned in the UPSC notification, please type yes. UPSC also conducts other examinations, Central Paramilitary Forces examination, NDA examination, etc. If you have ever been selected through them, please mention the same. Then we come to a very vital part, the last part of the DAF form. There are boxes on the left side. Here you will have to tick what are the certificates in support of your relaxation. If you belong to a particular community, belong to a particular region, if you belong to a particular category of physically handicapped, you have to upload those certificates. Most important is certificate 1, 7 and 8. First is your date of birth, it's the matriculation certificate, graduation certificate. I told you, while you are filling up your educational details, you must have your graduation certificate in your hand. Selected photo ID proof. Whatever is the photo ID proof that you select, you must carry the same to your mains examination hall. It helps in more coherence of the things. Other certificates as mentioned, if you have the requisite certificate, please take. And if you have claimed relaxation for the same, suppose if you are of a particular community and you have not claimed relaxation, obviously you need not give the certificate. But if you have claimed relaxation on basis of community, on basis of physical status, on basis of region, please upload them. have a checklist, have your certificates by your side, and then do this. This is all about the DAF form before your mains examination. We'll be holding subsequent detailed briefing after you qualify the mains examination before your interview. Hope it works well for you. All the best for your mains examination. Thank you.